All right, so we're looking at a whiteboard. It needs some light, maybe. I don't know. It's a little dark. But this light is terrible. What do we do? Okay, well, this is going to be a very, very short video. I've been in some trouble because my son has been in the hospital. So, maybe that'll work. So, but we're on organizational structures. So, we've already went through a couple of the structures. Let me check this again. Sorry. The structures included tall versus flat structures. And those are both, so they have different, purposes, right? A tall structure is for a larger organization, mass market, mass production, focuses on quality control and making sure that the lower level employees do the same exact job every time. They have very little power. Most of the decision making comes from the top of the organization. And just KPIs, KPIs of production, quality control and output. That's what they're trying for, just produce as much as possible with as much quality control. On the other hand, flatter structures are for businesses that have employees that are not unskilled. They usually have skilled employees. They don't need to be micromanaged. They have skills to adapt to certain, their job is going to be various. They're going to have to deal with different kinds of customers, different kinds of projects and tasks. Let's say a doctor, let's say a web designer. So these kind of tasks are going to require some expertise and some skill. Even customer service requires some skill to understand people better, understand people well. So all of these, you can have a flatter structure like that because you're giving more responsibility to the doctor, to the web designer, to the customer service staff. And that's the point of a flatter structure. You don't have to manage the staff for quality control. You want them to be dynamic. You want them to be able to meet the needs of many different situations. So today I'm going to introduce a third kind of organizational structure, not tall and not flat. It's called matrix, but it takes advantage of the main ideas that are part of, you still have an organizational chart. So you'll start with the top of your chart, okay, your CEO or whatever, general manager, and then you'll have your departments. You're still going to have your departments. Marketing, finance. I've been writing on the board enough. We'll have production, operations, and maybe we'll have research and development. So these are the people who do marketing, these are the people who get the money, these are the people who do the production in the factory. These are the people who are coming up with the ideas and the new products to make. So what happens is these are the same kind of what we'll call them is the functions, right? These functions all exist still. We still have the functions of a normal organizational structure. And inside each one of these departments, you have the expertise. You have all these people who are like research people. You have all these people who are specialists in this. You have all these specialists in finance. And then you have your marketing people who do their sales and everything. So they're all still there. But the point of the matrix system is that you're in an innovative business. Let's say, I'll just take Apple as an example. So you have, this structure still exists, but instead of just running the business day to day, producing as many Oreos as you can produce per year, endless amounts of Oreos. You have different projects. So now we're up to, I don't know what number, but let's say we're on iPhone 10 now, and so the next thing is going to be the iPhone 11. So when the iPhone 11, the project starts, the new CEO, I don't know if it's not, it was Steve Jobs. Let's say Steve Jobs is a ghost. He comes back and he wants to imagine what he wants from his iPhone 11. So he comes back and he says, I want a phone that can fly. I want a phone that can, electrocute anyone who steals it, who's not the person who owns it. I want a phone that has 3 cameras on it, so I can take a picture of you, me, and my feet at the same time. I don't know, Steve Jobs' dream. He has all the things he wants to have in his new iPhone. So what happens is, you have your R&D people. Let's say you have 8 of them. You put them together to try to figure out Steve's dream. Steve, your dream, we will make it come true. So they have all these people from the research and development part. Could be 80, could be 800. As they come up with ideas, you have maybe 3 or 4 financial people involved to make sure that they have enough money. What's the cost going to be? So here's idea X. And these people are like, ooh, that's going to be very expensive. How about idea Y? We can afford that. So you have the finance people working with the research and development people to come up with ideas that are going to be, think about cost. You have a couple people from operations there to listen and give feedback on what's going to be technically possible in terms of operations and maybe materials. And at least a couple marketing people there to consider how they might sell this idea, what kind of selling they might do with this idea. So this goes on at this stage of the project. So each one of these departments has, 20 people in it or whatever. And right now, they're using their resources like this. As time goes on, maybe this one goes up a little, and then it starts to come down. They start to make decisions, they start to figure out things. There's still some technical problems, so they still have a few people here. Now they know basically what they're going to make, so there's more operations people involved than before. Now they're thinking, okay, how do we redesign our factory? Are we going to produce it in China? Are we going to produce it in Taiwan? Where are we going to produce it? The finance people are also working overtime to figure out how they're going to get the money and to make the cost work for the thing. The marketing people now know basically they have an idea of what they're going to be selling. So there's more of them involved also. Then, so this project, right, this project is supposed to go, let's say, from January to June. And this project is going to start in April. It's going to go to April to September. What is this? Okay, well, it's the new, what are they going to do? They're going to do the new MacBook. Yay, okay, you got the MacBook Pro 87 or 11 or whatever it is. It's a new one. New MacBook. Okay, they're finished. They figured out what they're going to do with the iPhone. This is like one person just helping, making sure everything's okay. Now they have 10 people working on the MacBook. The operations people are in the factory. Everything's happening. It's going very strongly now. The finance people have worked out a lot of the numbers. Most of it's okay to have a few people there. The marketing department is still moving forward, getting higher and stronger. They're going to be selling it soon. So the operations department and the marketing department are working together. A lot of staff. This is the beginning of the process again. Here we go. The operations people, okay, they have a couple people just to give some feedback. The marketing people want to see what's new so they can think about maybe the advertising campaign. And the finance people are there to try to figure out how much it's going to cost. to do it. The operations people and the iPhone, okay, so this is still going on, now they're producing it, everything is going well there, we can just let them take care of it. The finance people are really not necessary anymore, and now it's full marketing. It's all about sales. How can we get the sales of the iPhone 11 up? Here we've got some ideas already. The research and development has figured out what they're doing mostly. They still have a few people on board. The operations is figuring out, okay, how can we produce this? What kind of factories are we going to do? The finance people are also in overdrive. We need new marketing, more marketing people. The marketing section is very stressed out. There's a lot of marketing. It's the second half of the project. Now we have Apple, they're going to make another thing. This time they want to make an iWatch 3 or i whatever. And this project starts in July and it goes until December. So all of our research people are now down here. They're getting into this new project. The operations people are down here. There's just a few of them. This project is starting to slow down. This operations is going well. Finance is going well for this, and they're marketing this. These people are mostly done with their job. That project is already moved on. And we're at the beginning of this project. We need quite a few finance people to try to figure out what's going on, and a few marketing people to help out and look at how they might sell this new iWatch better than the last one. This product was released in June, so this project is over. It's July. This one is finished, mostly, right? This one is starting, this one is finished. So this is a way that companies can do project management. If you see the term project management, this is the style of, you'll see a matrix structure. It's a project management structure. And it's very common in technology companies, obviously, because they keep updating, they're constantly updating their, whatever, iPhone 12, MacBook Pro 17, iWatch 25. So they keep updating and adding new features and new, trying to keep the product life cycle at its highest phase, to keep themselves fresh in the consumer's mind. So eventually this project will end too, and then they'll have the same thing. There'll be a new project for the next year. The operations might here are down to 2, and here they're down to 3. The marketing people are going to move to the next project. The research is done here. We're going to figure out how they're going to produce it. They still need some finance people. And then there'll be another project, and that'll just keep going. So this way, the good parts of this is you get the best staff that you can get, and you can put them in the best position to succeed in each project. That's good. These are teams, right? So these teams, these project management teams, they work together. So this group of people is like taking experts from each of the functions and bringing them together. So usually in a normal, tall organization, there's not much mixing. The research department does their thing, they finish, then they give it maybe to finance to try to figure out where to get the money. Then they give it to operations to produce it, and then they give it to the marketing department to sell it. But with this structure, you get that feedback and creativity where the marketing people can give feedback to the research people about what they think is going to work based on their knowledge of customers. The finance department can talk about which things are going to cost too much or what's going to be difficult to do. And the operations can talk about the feasibility of being able to produce something in a factory and how that's going to work. So all these people working together gives you a benefit of the experts in a team framework. That's what you want, right? You want to use your resources, keep using your resources. You want to have the best resources, and you want to have a lot of creativity, and you want to have a lot of expertise. Now, one thing that happens in the matrix structure, though, that can create some issues is that management, there are two levels of management. These are all, so each one here has a project manager. There's someone who's responsible for managing those projects all the way to the completion. Each one of these departments has a manager. So sometimes there's some competition. There's a lot of managers in that sense. They're not hierarchical managers. They're not managers in the traditional level system, but they're managers for this employee, for example. This employee has this manager and this manager. So sometimes maybe this manager has different information from this manager. And there's some conflict between the information that the employee gets and which one the employee has to decide what to be loyal to. Sometimes when you're in a team situation, some people feel like they do more work than others. So sometimes it's hard to give credit to the right people, right? And it limits the amount of hierarchy and promotion, and maybe someone had a great idea and they want to have credit for it, but no, the team gets credit for it, not the individual. So that can be a little bit of an issue. So I'll play a little video too. Not yet, though. I'll have, I'm going to open the book for a second. I'm on page 95. Page 95. Matrix. This type of organizational structure works well when the business needs to respond in a flexible manner to different projects. A project is a specific plan of action bringing individuals together temporarily in teams, and it's aimed at completing a piece of work, the iPhone 11. It's got a specific goal, and its own unique results. The management of the organization is divided into functional managers, these four people in red, and project managers, these three people on this side. So you have project managers and function managers. Each project manager takes charge of a project and brings together specialists from the different areas. These are all the specialists from the different areas of the organization to complete the project. The traditional functional structure does have its advantages, and I don't know why they're talking about this right here, but I did say this before. Standardization. Standardization means that you can produce a massive amount of products that have the same quality control. Standardization is possible across each function or area. Plus, there are more specialists concentrated in each area. Unfortunately, the results can be rigid. Rigid means inflexible, and that's not what we need sometimes. We need to be flexible to meet market demand and to come up with innovative products that are going to be able to compete with the other companies that are also trying to make innovative products. Rigidity means inflexibility. in that each time a new project is attempted within the organization, the functional areas can be too inflexible and separate and not communicate well. So the point is to bring them together in a team to have the different departments be able to communicate. A matrix structure enables the business to use the expertise from across the whole organization and also to choose the best possible people for each kind of job. It ensures that the best possible decisions are made and is flexible in that other specialists can be involved as required. The whole business organization should find that the communication and cooperation between the individuals in the groups or in the teams is improved. And then they have another picture of a similar situation. But it's good to see it this way because you can see how the staff moves from project to project. Logistics is the management of resources. I don't know why they're saying that. That's unimportant for right now. So in general, I think you understand the point of the matrix structure. And what I would like you to do is to try to maybe imagine some of the issues that could happen and the benefits and drawbacks of this type of structure. I'm going to throw one video at you. It's only 3 minutes, but that'll be it for today. It's a short video, short class. Next, not a lot of time today. Key reasons to have a matrix structure.
Key reasons why organisations introduce a matrix, and the importance of communicating these reasons clearly. It also introduces some potential downsides of the matrix for the way we work together. A matrix structure is, strictly speaking, where we have multiple bosses, more than one formal reporting line, whether solid or dotted. However, the term matrix is often used for anywhere where we are working horizontally across the traditional vertical silos of function, geography, or other organisational units, such as working with external partners or multifunctional and virtual teams. This way of working is the norm in complex organisations. Here are the top 6 reasons why companies introduce a matrix. 1. To meet the needs of global or regional customers who want a consistent international agreement and point of contact. 2. To improve their capability to run global or regional projects and systems. 3. To improve access to resources, skills and technologies across the organisation that might otherwise be locked up in vertical silos. 4. To improve cooperation.
When she says vertical silos, she's basically saying that the functional departments. So she's just saying that, a silo is just like a separate from another department. So vertical just means inside the organizational structure. Like in a tall structure, you have all the marketing people in one silo or one group. So it works across the silos. And so you have global customers who have different needs, which is similar to different projects, because people have different needs, then you have to be able to work together in teams in order to solve those needs. Global projects, obviously project management means projects. Sharing resources is a goal of many companies to be able to take advantage of the synergy of the groups, of the teams, instead of just relying on each department. Cooperation.
Communication across the functional and geographic silos. 5. To bring flexibility through faster decisions involving multiple stakeholders. 6. To build broader people capabilities. As businesses become more integrated, they need to develop people who can think beyond their own functions or locations. It is important that your objectives for having a matrix are well communicated. In the absence of clear communication, the response to reorganisation is often, I will keep my head down and it will go away in 6 months. In the absence of clear goals, people often assume that the matrix is the latest management fad or the brainchild of some external consultants. However, when we make a choice, we always gain some advantages and incur some disadvantages. There are some potential downsides that come with the additional complexity and connectedness of matrix working. Here are some common challenges. 1. Accountabilities and authority can be less clear and are often shared. 2. Meetings and bureaucracy can rise as the amount of coordination and communication increases. 3. More people become involved in the decision process, which can slow things down. 4.
Sometimes decision making, it could be faster or slower, is what they're saying. In order to get these people in these different teams to agree and to be able to achieve goals, they're going to have more meetings, which might be slowing things down. Again, you have 2 managers, so you may have unclear who you're responsible to, right? Accountability means that you report up. Should you report to your project manager, or should you, talk to your department manager? That's the question of accountability. Ambiguity means unclear. Things are unclear.
Ambiguity increases, competing goals and higher levels of change and flexibility. 5. We can see increases in central control as leaders try to re-establish control over a more complex environment. 6. There is the possibility of more resource conflict as people need to engage outside their silos to get things done. These challenges are not about structure or strategy. They are about the way people work together in the matrix. These are not inevitable. Other modules in this series will concentrate on how to deliver the benefits of matrix working whilst minimising the impact of potential disadvantages.
She's so serious. Okay guys, that's it. I just wanted to introduce matrix today. That's enough for today. We're done. And next time I'm going to talk about something called the network structure. Have a good day.